Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Kiger, and I picked today, guys. I've changed things around a little bit. We're going to be doing a video like this. Got the bookcase all set up nicely now. I don't want to move my camera because, well, I might be able to show you, but as you can see, everything it's a lot nicer now. I've got to say, it's actually looking a lot nicer now that I've moved the fucking camera. It's going to fuck up for me. There we go. Well, today, guys, I'm going to be doing a video which I'm going to be talking about some of my sort of most favourite recent gaming experiences. Now, when I say recent, this could be anything within the past, 2-3 years, maybe even further back. I don't want to go too far back because I've got a shit ton of previous experiences. These are just some games that I've played in the past couple of, say, years that have really sort of stuck with me. These are not necessarily games that I keep coming back to so much to say, more so games that I've really enjoyed playing, and I just wanted to share some of those experiences with you. I've got a couple of physical games I will be able to show for reference, but the rest of them pretty much are digital games or stuff like that. So first of all, I want to start off by mentioning two co-op story games. Now, I don't really play a lot of online games, so to say. I normally play offline or solo, especially when it comes to PS4. With Xbox, I tend to play online with my friend. So that's really what I only really play online is with my friend. I don't really play online games on my own, unless it's a game that I really actually enjoy playing. And to my surprise, I want to start off by mentioning A Way Out. This game really came as a surprise because, it was published under the EA banner. Now we know EA for making, shit tons of, sports games. For example, they've been making sports games since like the Sega era. And we know EA as being this sort of money hungry, multiplayer is the future company, with the Battlefield series and all of this stuff. But I don't necessarily think that's not necessarily true of EA. EA get a bad rap because they used to make some really solid first person single player games back in the day, Black, for example. Now, A Way Out really came out of the blue for me because, it didn't really sort of go under this sort of banner of EA. This game could have been made by any company. It was just weird to see EA make a co-op driven story game. Now, I really like co-op games. Don't get me wrong, I love playing solo, but if there's a game that I can play a story and experience it with a friend, my gaming partner Ryan, we're going to play through the game together. It's so much more better to play through with a friend. You can experience it together. Now, A Way Out was just, this game was absolutely mind-blowing. On a technical level, it sort of really stood out because it was an homage to split-screen gaming back in the day. And this game is, it was crazy the way they did it because whether you were playing local on the same TV or with a friend online, the game was always going to be split screen, and that's why it sort of stood out to me. It's a really good story driven like prison escape game. Two characters, they sort of come together. It's got an amazing story to it. The character development between these two characters is amazing. It's not the longest game. You can beat it within 5-6 hours, so you could beat it in a day if you really wanted to, or just play it over a weekend, which is what I did. And this game really blew me away. I just had a great time with it. It was a massive homage to the old split screen days of gaming. And I really hope, EA, the publishers that did this game, I know it was EA, I don't know the exact companies that worked on it, but I really hope that those people who did A Way Out will do more games like that in the future, using that same format, because co-op gaming is not dead. I think a lot of companies say nowadays it's like we either make a multiplayer game or we make a single player story driven game, and not many people really sort of mix those these days, and so that was why A Way Out really stood to me. I won't spoil the ending, but it has a massive twist ending, and it's something to be experienced whether you're playing it with a friend online or someone, you know, in the same house as you. It is one not to be missed. And in a similar vein, I also want to give a little bit of a shout out to Man of Medan. The part of the Dark Pictures anthology, we should be getting 4 games hopefully. So I really hope Supermassive Games do that. We've got a little hope on the way next year. And Man of Medan really sort of surprised me because again, it was similar to A Way Out in the sense that it came out of nowhere. This game just came out of nowhere. You know, if you knew about this game, you didn't really know too much about the game until it came out. And essentially what it is a Until Dawn-esque story horror game, which you can play like a normal, you know, Until Dawn on your own, or you can play it co-op. And again, similar to A Way Out, although it's not split screen, it's completely on the opposite end of the spectrum. So whereas in A Way Out, you can pretty much see what your friend is doing the whole time, A Man of Medan, on the other hand, is the complete opposite end of the spectrum. There are parts in the game where, you know, you and your friend are in completely different sections, you know, of the boat or whatever, and you just don't know what they're up to. And, you know, I really enjoyed playing it because I don't really play a lot of horror games these days, and to be able to play a horror game with a friend that's, you know, actually a story game where, you know, you can sort of play it together. It really got to me. You know, this game really sort of, you know, it did have a few jump scares in there, and I really enjoyed the way the game worked because we were sort of like every time something happened, like they were screaming or whatever, like what happened, you know, and you'd sit there and talk to each other about what you saw, because what you see is not what your friend sees. And that, in my opinion, is why Man of Medan was a great gaming experience for me, because it was something different, and it really did a good job of doing that. Now, I don't really play a lot of these story interactive movie-esque games like the, you know, Until Dawn, the Telltale games, you know, stuff like that. Not because I don't like those games. I think they're great styles of games, interactive movies almost. But for me personally, if I'm going to play a game, I want to play something that I'm sort of constantly doing something rather than watching some cutscenes and waiting to press a button or something. Now, again, I've got nothing against people that like these games. I will play them if I'm in the right mood to play them, because, you know, like I just mentioned about that. So those are some really fun co-op games that, if you like story games, check those out if you've got someone else to play them with, because they are fantastic. They're not long games. Both of them are about 4 to 6 hours, so you can beat them in 1 sitting or 2 sittings if you're just going to do it over a couple of days, which is what I recommend anyway. You don't want to sort of jump straight in and do it all in one go. You want to sort of give yourself some time to sort of react to what you've just seen and sort of take it in and be prepared for the next day of gaming with it. I don't think there's really any other... I also want to just give a small mention to Gears of War 5. Gears 5, sorry. Really enjoyed the game. I think the story was a lot better than Gears of War 4. I think Gears of War 4, in my opinion, was a little bit... I didn't really remember too much from Gears of War 4, so maybe I'll have to play it and refresh my memory. But, you know, for a long time, Gears of War 3 was my favourite Gears of War game. But Gears 5 could, you know, be there because I just really enjoyed the story in that game. Playing it co-op, you know, the open world side of it was really fun. And of course, hopefully, within the next couple of months with the State of Play and whatever coming out, we should be getting some new modes, new characters, and extra weapons, and all of these good things that come with, you know, games these days, and stuff like that. So those are just some co-op story games that I want to mention. The next couple of games I want to mention are some single-player games that I played on my own. I've got 3 that I don't have. Well, first series I want to mention is the Uncharted series. Now, I didn't really play the Uncharted series on the PlayStation 3. I had a go on them a couple of goes on some of them, but I didn't really sit there and play the whole game through. Now, good thing about the PlayStation 4 is they have all 5 Uncharted games. Yes, there are 5 now. One's technically not a normal Uncharted game. It's sort of spin-off, but I still class it as an Uncharted game. I really enjoyed the Uncharted series because to me, they were just what you want from a single player game. They are, they've got chase scenes, gun scenes, boat scenes, quick time events, awesome cut scenes. You can get the remastered trilogy, the Nathan Drake trilogy, as you want to call it, with 1, 2, and 3 on PS4 now, which is great because originally they were PS3 only, but now you can get all 3 of them on PS4. You can buy them individually. I have seen like individual copies of them on the PS4, or you can just buy the trilogy box set, which has all 3 games on. Unfortunately, no multiplayer with them. Doesn't bother me. 4 was just spectacular. I think 4, it did sort of change some of the controls, but I didn't really care so much because I didn't really play these games necessarily for the actual, gameplay side of things. I really enjoyed the story in these games, and the gameplay again is fantastic. I've forgotten what the 5th game was called, so if you remember that game, put it in the comments below because I completely forgot what it's called. It's the one where you play as the girl, 2 girls. I can't remember their names because it's been a while since I played them. But the Uncharted series is not one to be missed. Even if you don't have the PS4, you can play the first 3 games on PS3, and I think I do have them on PS3 as well. But these games were just absolutely amazing. I really, really enjoyed them. I think a lot of people swear by Uncharted 2 being the best one, but I really enjoyed 3, to be honest. I thought 3 was a really, really good game. The only one I will say is for newcomers to the Uncharted series, is the first game is a little bit on the finicky side. It's not been perfected. There are a few little things here and there that you might bullshit on, like some of the jumping controls are a little bit off sometimes, the hit detection's a bit off, and sometimes it just seems like there's swarms and swarms of enemies coming at you, which sort of did annoy me at first, but once you get past that and get into the second game, it all goes away. All of those problems you had with the first game just have gone, and you can just experience the whole series from there, but still play the first game for the story, of course. You have to. Really amazing series. I had a great time with the Uncharted series, and it might be a series that I go back to and play again just to experience that story again. But good news is, I don't know if the original Uncharted did have this, but because the remaster didn't have the multiplayer, it has a bunch of like unlockable and different modes you can play it, like, almost cheat mode. So you can play it in like black and white, mirrored mode, big head mode, sort of an homage to these old school, games where they had all of these unlockable like cheats, as you call them. So I appreciate them doing that. Again, they might have been in the original version. I don't know, since I haven't played the original version properly anyway. But the Uncharted series is a must play for any PlayStation 4 fan. Even if you got PS3, you can still play the first 3 games. Again, I had to mention Yakuza, Kiwami and Yakuza 0. I do have Kiwami 2 to play next, which I will get round to playing at some point, but I absolutely fell in love with the Yakuza series. I sort of missed out on the Yakuza series when they first come out on the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3, just because they weren't that well, marketed, I guess. They were kind of hard to come by. You didn't really know too much about these games back in the day. If you came by one, you sort of didn't really know too much about it. And, if you found like 3, you go, I don't really want to play 3 if I haven't played 1 and 2. But now, Sega and Sony have done a great job of coming together and bringing all of the Yakuza games to the PlayStation 4, which I've already mentioned in some previous videos. But I absolutely loved playing the Yakuza series. 1 and 0, of course, well, Kiwami, but Absolutely fantastic games. Again, I've still got so much to do in them, so I can go back to those 2 games and, you know, try and get everything in those games if I really want to. But before I do that, I want to play through all 6 games, well, 7 technically, and then the 8th game, well, the 7th game, but, you know, 0 is in there now, so 7. It's kind of weird like that, but the Yakuza games, I love the story in them. What I love about the Yakuza series is it sort of combines both a JRPG with a little bit of a Western RPG in there at the same time. So you've got sort of almost a hybrid between them, and it's not that bad. Again, not for everyone, but worth checking out if you like those sort of games. Next, I've got a couple of games here that I have played recently in this past, say, couple of months, maybe year. That I do want to mention. These are games that I absolutely really enjoyed playing through them. The first one, I might get a lot of hate for this, but that was Dynasty Warriors 9. Now, this game, on a technical level, is a bit of a disappointment. I'm not going to lie, this game sort of sucks in a lot of departments. However, I stand my ground when it comes to Dynasty Warriors. I love the Warriors series. However, the Warrior series has sort of been getting a bit stale. A lot of the games, like 8 and 7, you're not really going to know the difference between them until you actually play them. Might be a few extra characters here and there and stuff like that. Dynasty Warriors at 9, in my opinion, was the first Dynasty Warriors game that tried something different. It did the open world. While it's not perfect, well, it's not great, should I say, it tried something new. Now, why I want to mention this game is because I have played this game well over 100 hours now. And I have completed about 13, 14 characters, stories in this game. Now, there's over 90 characters, and each character has a certain amount of chapters they complete. Some are longer than others. But because the game has an ending for each character, it kind of made me want to try and beat all of the endings. Now, I was a bit disappointed because the game crashed on me at one point, so I lost one of my character saves. So I haven't gone back to it since. But I did want to mention Dynasty Warriors 9 just because of the sheer amount of time I put into this game. Speaking of Warriors anyway, I did want to mention... excuse me, I don't know why I'm doing this. I did want to mention Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate again. Similar to Dynasty Warriors 9, I just put so much time into that game. I played it on the Xbox One. I don't have the PS4 version. I played so much of Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate, and in my opinion, it's still my favourite Warriors game. With Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate on the way, am I going to get it? I had 4. I enjoyed 4. I sold it. So maybe I'll get Ultimate back. I don't know. The next one I want to mention is Far Cry 5. This game blew me away. I love the Far Cry series. Now, 4, in my opinion, disappointed me. I'm not going to lie. 4 just weren't that great. It didn't seem as good compared to 3, with 3 being, you know, the Far Cry. Similar to Fallout, you know, how Far Cry and Fallout 3 are the sort of ones that really brought people to the series. It's crazy, isn't it? You know, because 3 is normally considered to be the Bane child, the bastard child when it comes to sequels. But Far Cry 5, absolutely love this game. It might not be the most stable game at times. The story and the ending is a little bit on the stingy side. It's not the greatest, but the sheer amount of time I put into this game was incredible. When I went down to my mum's, when I had to go down there for a month because of my nan, I played this game to death. I mean, literally, I completed the story, I did all of the DLCs, and the arcade mode was just fantastic. I've already done a review on this if you want to hear my opinions on it, but I absolutely couldn't put this game down just because it is hilarious. It is such a great game. Unfortunately, New Dawn didn't do as well. I was a bit disappointed when it came to New Dawn. But Far Cry 5 was absolutely fantastic. Next game I want to mention is Spider-Man. I loved Spider-Man. I love Marvel, and for so long we've been sat there in the back going, why is Marvel not brought out a decent console game? You know, why is Marvel stuck to the mobile? You know, for so many years all we really had from Marvel was, you know, we did have the Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, you know, updated versions on the Xbox One and PS4. And then Ultimate Alliance 3 came out on the Switch, which again I do want to get. But for so long, it seemed like all Marvel really cared about were their mobile games. Contest of Champions, Future Fight, and now we've got Strike Force. But Marvel Spider-Man absolutely blew me away. Again, similar thing, the Batman Arkham series ruled the console superhero games. There was no contest back in the day. Now, there is a contest, whether you prefer the Arkham or Spider-Man. Now, it is a bit unfair because there are 4 Arkham games, but they are quite similar in some senses, you know, each of them adding new things to them. But again, the gameplay is very similar in most of them. But Spider-Man blew me away, and they are similar games in their, like, how they play, but Spider-Man, in my opinion, sort of tops the cake. And in my opinion, this could be the best superhero game of all time, just because it's almost perfect. There's a few things here and there that are a bit finicky at times, and you know, some glitches, but again, nothing you wouldn't find in other big open world games. But Spider-Man absolutely blew me away. This game is, in my opinion, one of my favourite superhero games that I've played. For so long, I used to say the Marvel Ultimate Alliance series was the best Marvel game of all time, but I could be wrong now. Spider-Man game captured the great... If you've never... This game is great for people that don't really know Spider-Man. So, if someone would say to you, I don't really know much about Spider-Man, what movie should I watch, or should I play a game? Check this one out, because it pretty much does a good job of introducing the sort of newer Spider-Man, you know, with Miles and Mary Jane and you know, Aunt May and all of those good stuff. So it does a good job of doing that without it being an origin story, which is what I like about this game, is it's not an origin story. And I like that because there's too many origin story games and movies when it comes to superheroes these days. How many times are we going to see Uncle Ben die? And thankfully in this game you don't. So absolutely love Spider-Man. It is one worth checking out. In my opinion, it is probably the best superhero game of all time. Although I wouldn't recommend letting your kids play it because it is a little bit more on the high technical side. So if you've got a kid who's never played a Spider-Man game, I'd recommend letting them play like Maximum Carnage on the Super Nintendo, just because that's a much more friendly game for kids to play. And I'm actually currently playing this right now, Horizon Zero Dawn. This again was another game that when it first came out, I didn't really think too much about it. I heard good things about it, but I didn't really sort of look into it. I didn't really go, oh, well, I need to get that game right away. And now I'm playing it. I actually am enjoying this game. It is absolutely fantastic. It's different. While the gameplay is quite similar to, say, something like The Witcher or other open world epic games like that, I've got to say, just the setting alone is different enough for it to be, you know, this could have been like, you know, a book or something, a world of its own, you know, big machines, you know, almost desolate lands, you know, people living, going back to nature. So it's set in the future, but it's sort of set in the old time. So you've got like old, you know, olden styles of living, you know, tribes and things with, you know, futuristic machines and things like that. I will do a full review on this game when I complete it. I don't know how far I am into the story. I'm not going to be doing everything in the game. I just want to finish the story before, because you know me, I've got shit tons of games here to play. And that's what I'm sort of doing at the moment, is while I do play some of these games and I do the side missions and other things, I don't mind if there's stuff that I've missed, because it's something I can come back to. I tend to want to finish the story before so I can move on to another game before I sort of like finish you know, with the game before I move on. So at least I'll finish the story. And the last game I want to mention, I had to mention it, is Overwatch. This game sort of is a love-hate relationship with me. Just a quick mention before I run out of time. Originally, when it first came out, I was just sort of like, oh, it's a Team Fortress clone. Didn't really play much Team Fortress back in the day. Tried it out. I was a bit shit at first. Now when I play it every so often with my friend. And almost, if I play it in a week, we normally have about 2 days when we play Overwatch, 2 nights when we play Overwatch. So, love-hate relationship with the game. Love the game. Hate somewhat of the community because some people are a bit stupid and don't understand how the game works. But absolutely love Overwatch. It is definitely one of the series that I've sort of come to you know, come to sort of appreciate with the Overwatch series. You know, I've got a Lego Overwatch here, and I really enjoy the game just because of its sort of homage to these old school you know, multiplayer games where it's not about leveling up and getting better and, you know, unlocking new weapons. It's just play it and see how far you can get into the rankings and stuff like that. Great game to come back to, but don't play it if you're shit at it because I can't deal with that. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like and, of course, comment below. Let me know what some of the recent games that you've played in these past couple of years that you've enjoyed. These are not all of them, of course. I've played a ton more games. I could go further back and talk about some PS2 and GameCube and all of those games, but I wanted to keep it quite modern here today. Let me know if you prefer this sort of style of video where I'm actually standing up, got something decent in the background for once, you know, games. Yeah, I've got the PS1 games there, PS3. This is my PlayStation wardrobe almost, bookcase almost, with the exception of some of my cartridge and retro games, just because I ain't got nowhere else to put them at the moment. And my PS2's got a bookcase of its own downstairs, because there's no way I'll be able to fit 1,000 games on here as well. And of course, guys, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already and join the family. Hopefully we should get some more videos over the next couple of days. What it will be, I don't know. We shall see. And as always, have a nice day. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheMadKaider, and you can check out updates to the channel and other things there, and whatever else I decide to post. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Take care and bye-bye.